Now we are going to use transformations with the content aware move. So open up this thistle and click File, Save As, and we're going to type thistle underscore your last name. We're going to put it in our lesson 5 folder. Make sure it's a Photoshop file and save. So with the content aware move tool, you'll only need a few quick steps to duplicate a thistle. I bet none of y'all have said thistle lately. Everybody say thistle. We're going to move it so that it combines seamlessly with the background and is also different enough that it doesn't look like an exact copy of the original. We're going to select the content aware move tool. Y'all know where that is? Or right here. Content aware move tool. In the options bar, choose extend from the mode menu. Extend right there. Choosing extend duplicates the thistle. If you just want to reposition the single thistle, you would choose move, but we want to extend it because we want another one. So with the content aware move tool, draw a selection around the thistle with a margin large enough to include a little of the grass around it. So we're just going to draw around this. Drag the selection to the left and drop it in the empty area of grass. So I'm just going to click on it and drag it over here and drop it. Right click if you're on Windows, or control click if you're on a Mac. And we're going to go to, hang on, flip horizontal. So it flipped it, so it's the opposite direction. Drag the top left transformation handle to make it smaller. Shrink it down. If you think the copy of the thistle should be farther from the original, position the pointer inside the transformation rectangle and drag it slightly to the left. So if you want to move it over a little bit, you can do that. Press enter or return to apply the transformations. Leave the content selected so you can adjust the structure and color options in the options bar to improve how the new thistle blends with the background. So if you went up here, you can go up here and change the color, and you can change the structure. You can do whatever you want. And then once you're done, you would do deselect. Now this isn't perfect because you see that I think what I did was I went too far outside of it because it's lighter than I think it should be. But it's just a quick example of what you do. So there you go. So now let's just click File and Save to save what you've done. And then let's close that. One thing I wanted to ask you before we do this next one, which color setting for the content aware move tool should you choose to match the color as closely as possible? Is it 1, 5, 10, or 100? Correct answer, 10. We are now going to adjust perspective in an image. So the perspective warp feature lets you adjust the way objects in your image relate to the scene. You can correct distortions, change the angle from which an object appears to be viewed, or shift the perspective of an object so that it merges smoothly with a new background. Using the perspective warp feature is a two-step process. Defining the planes and adjusting them. You start in layout mode, excuse me, drawing quads to define two or more planes. It's a good idea to align the edges of the quad so they are parallel with the lines of the original object. And then we're going to switch to warp mode and manipulate the planes that we define. You'll use perspective warp to merge images with different perspectives. So I have on my computer, this is what you're going to start with. You can see the train, it is not on the track. It's like it's flying. Final image should look like something like this, where the train is now on the tracks. Seems difficult, maybe it is. Let's find out, shall we? So if you haven't already, go ahead and open up your bridge start, PSD. And then we're going to click File, Save As, and we're going to make this bridge underscore your last name. Make sure it's in the lesson files, make sure it's a Photoshop file, and click Save and OK. All right, in this file, the image of the train is combined with the image of the trestle bridge, but their perspectives don't match. If you're illustrating a story about a flying train that's making a landing on a trestle bridge, this might be perfect. But if you want a more realistic image, you'll need to adjust the perspective of the train to put it firmly on the tracks. We're going to use the perspective warp to do just that. So let's select the train layer. You see we have a background layer and a train layer. If we take that off, there's no train there. So select the train layer. You see that the tracks are on the background layer. Because the train layer is a smart object, we can apply perspective warp and then modify the results if we're not satisfied. Perspective warp can work faster on a computer that qualifies for graphics acceleration. So we may or may not have that on your computers. Yours may work slower than mine or faster than mine. Phone's blowing up today. Let's click Edit, and we're going to go down to Perspective Warp. A tutorial comes up and it's telling you to click and drag to define planes, snap two or more planes together to define corners, and that's what we are going to do. So close that little tutorial. We're going to create quads to define the planes of the train image. We're going to draw the quad for the side of the train. So click above the smokestack, right there. And we're going to drag down to the railroad tie below the front wheel, down here. And then drag across to the end of the caboose. Like that. And then we're going to drag a second quad for the front of the train, dragging across the cow catcher at the bottom. Y'all probably didn't know that was called a cow catcher. You know why that was on trains? Because sometimes in the old days, I was probably alive, but cows would be on these tracks, and what this would do was this little thing right here would move the cows off the track. So we are going to drag across the cow catcher at the bottom and into the trees at the top, and drag it to the right until it attaches to the left edge of the first quad. So okay. When finished creating in quad shapes, click the warp button to begin warping. Okay. All right. I don't know if mine's right. I've never done this, but we'll find out. Drag the corners of the planes to match the angles of the train. The bottom side of the side plane should run along the bottom of the train wheels. The top edge should border the top of the caboose. The front plane should mirror the lines of the cow catcher in the top of the right. So we need to click here and drag this up here to the caboose. Click down like this. Like I said, I've never done this before. Don't know if it's going to look good or bad or somewhere in between. Okay. Now the quads are drawn, you're ready for the second step, which is warping. Click warp in the options bar. So right here, we're going to click warp. Another tutorial is going to open up. It says move warp pins to manipulate perspective. So that's what we're going to do. Click automatically straighten right here. Automatically straighten near vertical lines. Lines close to vertical are made vertical, making it easier to adjust its perspective. Drag the handles to manipulate the planes, moving the back end of the train down and into perspective with the tracks. Exaggerate the perspective toward the caboose to make a more dramatic result. So we're going to click here. Whoa. Wow. This is crazy. There's the tracks. Warp the other parts of the train as needed. You may need to adjust the front of the train. Pay attention to the wheels. Make sure you don't distort them as you warp the perspective. So I look like I'm along the track. It's kind of hard to tell back there because of those white lines. While there are precise ways to adjust perspective, in many cases you may need to trust your eyes to tell you when it looks right. Remember that you can return to tweak it again later because you're applying perspective warp as a smart filter. When you're satisfied with your perspective, click the Commit Perspective Warp button in the options bar right there. It's not perfect. Right there it looks like if you double click on perspective warp down there, I'm going to drag. Any adjustments you make sure you do the check mark. I think that looks better. What about you? You think mine looks okay? So if you needed to make adjustments, you saw what I did. I double clicked that perspective warp and that put us back where we could adjust it. You can continue to adjust the existing planes or click layout in the options bar to reshape them. Remember to click the Commit Perspective Warp button, which is that check mark, to apply your changes. So once you've got your train straight, you should see smart filters over here. And if you want to see what your original was, you can check this. We went from that to that, that to that, which looks better. All right, so click File and then Save. Lastly, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and then we'll be completely finished with Lesson 5. The two steps involved in the perspective warp feature are defining the planes and is it adjusting them, merging them, collapsing them, or inverting them? Correct answer, adjusting them. Next question. To use the camera shake reduction filter, what would you choose? It is filter, sharpen, and shake reduction. There you go. Congratulations, you have completed Lesson 5.